Anthony, what happened?
അറിയില്ല
Huh?
എല്ലാം നിശബ്ദമായോ?
Your photo is not seen.
ഓക്കെ ഓക്കെ നമ്മൾ വായിച്ചു കഴിഞ്ഞല്ലേ? Okay. So now I welcome Dr. Matthew Erdel to welcome the virtual gathering.
Can I start now?
Yes, please.
Can I hear? Yeah. Good afternoon to everybody. I am Father Matthew Erdel, Associate Director of ADI. Dear Anthony, Director of respected resource persons, dear participants, we are having the webinar, The Farmers' Rights, Agricultural Laws and Protest, organized by ADI, Lokmanch and JESA. ADI has been working among the Adivasis of Attappady for the last 15 years for their socio-cultural and educational development and liberation and for the protection of environment, for which we have an eco-reserve, a kind of farm. Lokmanch is a national people's forum consisting of over 100 organizations working in 12 states under the auspices of the National Jesuit Action. The network of organizations tries to empower the marginalized people like Dalits and Adivasis to get their rights and entitlements for food security, education, health, etc. The SMSs, KTDS and ACARTS are the three Lokmanch partners who are collaborating with ADI. JESA is a social action forum of the Kerala Jesuit province. As all of us know, just now the crucial talk of the farmers' representatives with the government is going on in Delhi. The agitation has been going on for the last 13 days or so, and this is almost the 9th round of talks with the government, and the massive presence of the farmers in Delhi is unprecedented. It is for the first time maybe the capital city is witnessing such a big large gathering of people surrounding the capital. That way it is noted by not only all the people in India but people outside. In fact, UN and Canadian government have responded to that to this great event. They are protesting, as we know, against the three important laws passed by the last sitting of the parliament. And the government says that it is all for the good of the farmers, while the farmers are saying that it is detrimental to their life and their agriculture. And therefore it is very important and pertinent and relevant today, very relevant, that we know what these laws are, bills are, their legal implications, and why do the government says that it is all for the good of the farmers. On the contrary, why the farmers are agitated against it. And this is what we have to know. We have to learn from the resource persons of today. We have very eminent resource persons to present this topic for us. It is going to be inaugurated by Mr. Alex Urugayil. He is a farmer by birth and a quantitative market researcher who is working as Director of Research in Saudi Arabia. He is also the founder chairman of Kerala Independent Farmers Association, in short form KIFA, which fights for the farmers' rights in Kerala. He hails from Kozhikode district of Kerala, and therefore he is very competent to speak about it and enlighten us. On behalf of Adi, Lokmanch, Jessa, a cordial welcome to you, Mr. Alex. Our main resource person is Advocate Johnny K. George. He is a lawyer. He is the Director of Legal Cell of KIFA. On behalf of Adi, Lokmanch and Jessa, I welcome you, Johnny, warmly for this webinar.
Thank you.
Our second resource person is Mr. James Wadaken. He is the founder of another farmers organization, I believe, called Farmers First. On behalf of Adi, Lokmanch and Jessa, I am very happy to welcome you, Mr. James. I welcome Father P.S. Anthony, the Director of Adi, and all the staff of Adi, Lokmanch partners, and Jessa members. I welcome all the participants warmly to this webinar. I wish that all of you are enlightened by the webinar so that you are able to appreciate the labor of the farmers who really sustain us through our food and sustain our life. And therefore, hereafter we are able to always support their cause. And let this be the motivation for this webinar itself. All the best.
Thank you, Dr. Matthew Erthagil, for welcoming the virtual gathering. Now I cordially invite Mr. Alex to inaugurate this webinar. Welcome,
sir. Yeah, okay. Father Anthony, I think
that's all except Mr. Alex.
Yeah. Yeah, Father Anthony, can you mute everyone? Then I will unmute myself and speak.
Yes, 1 minute, sir.
Yeah.
Vivilal? One second. Vivin, can you hear me?
Yes, Father.
Hello.
1 second, sir.
Yeah, sure.
ஆன்லைன் பேமெண்ட் வேணா பண்ணி பார்க்கலாமாங்க சார்? அந்த இ-சர்வீஸ் நம்ம பண்ணுவோம்ல எல்ஐசில உங்க ஏஜென்ட்டுக்கு வச்சு.
Okay, Father Anthony, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Now it's okay, sir. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Can you see the presentation?
Yeah, but it's okay. You can. Continue.
You can say, right? Yeah. Okay, fine. Okay. Just 5 minutes. 5 minutes is my time, right? Yeah. Okay. First of all, thanks Father Anthony and Adi for inviting us for this webinar, and we are really honored to be here. As Father Eratel said, KIFA stands for Kerala Independent Farmers Association. We are a very recent organization fighting for the farmers' rights, mostly against wildlife attack and other issues in Kerala. Okay, so I will straight away get into some numbers. Though it's an inauguration, I thought of sharing some numbers with you first as a food for thought. Then Advocate Johnny will take it forward. Okay, so these are the some key numbers regarding food production in India. Okay, so the bills, all the three bills we are talking about today are all about food, agriculture and food production, and there's a distribution and processing, etc. Okay, so to understand that better, it's very important for us to understand the current state of affairs in Indian agriculture. Okay, so this is the food grain production in India in the last 10 years, right from 2018. Okay, and incidentally, India ranks second in the world in the production of pulses and cereals, especially rice and wheat. Okay, and as you can see in this one, it is actually increasing. See, in 2010, the production was 218 million metric tons. Okay, and it is increasing steadily. And if you look at 2020, we are sitting with a bumper crop of 295 million metric tons. It's actually a record, all-time record. Okay, and from 2016 onwards, it is steadily increasing. Okay, so please keep this number in mind. Now let's look at the global hunger index. Okay, this is where the irony comes into the play. Okay, so we are number one in terms of global, number one or two number in terms of global food production. But if you look at the hunger index, the picture is completely different. See, in the latest index available is for 2020, wherein we are ranked 94. Look at this, 94 out of 107 countries. And in 2019, we were 102 out of 117 countries. In 2018, we were 103 out of 119 countries. Okay, so this gives us a completely different picture. So this tells us there is a serious problem in India. Okay, we are going hungry not because we do not produce. Yes, there is enough production, but somehow we are not able to reach out to the needy. Okay, so the government's pretext of bringing out all these law is also this paradox. Okay, so the government claims that they intend to reform all these things. They will fix all these supply chain issues with these bills. That is the claim made by the government. Okay, but when you go through the text in more details, you'll understand that that's only in paper. The reality is something different. Okay, I'll show you one more slide. This is about the number of suicides in India. See, in the last 9 years, more than 100,000 farmers have committed suicide in India. Okay, and luckily, see, the trend is declining. Okay, but still, even in 2019, 10,281 farmers committed suicide in India. That works out to be roughly around 30 people every day. So as we speak, even today on this 9th day of December, 30 farmers would have committed suicide by the time we close the day. Okay, that's the reality of Indian agriculture. Okay, now coming to the specific laws, as you all know, there are 3 laws. Okay, it is starting from bill number 1111, 112, and 113 of 2020. The most controversial one is, of course, the FPTA CPA bill, the Farmers Produce Trade and Commerce Promotion and Facilitation Bill 2020. See, when you look at it, when you look at the preamble of the bill, etc., it looks very sweet. Okay, the words they have used are very, very lucrative. We feel that it's very nice. The farmers and traders enjoy the freedom of choice. Freedom of choice is also enshrined in our constitution. Okay, then remunerative prices. Lack of good prices is a perennial problem in Indian agriculture. So the government claims that they will fix all these issues with this kind of a bill. Okay, this is the first bill. The second bill is called the Farmers Empowerment and Protection Agreement on Prices Assurance and Farm Services Bill. This is commonly known as the Contract Farming Bill. Okay, Here also, the words they have used is very sweet, very, very encouraging to the farmers. It protects and empowers farmers to engage with agribusiness firms. And again, it also speaks about remunerative prices in a fair and transparent manner. So prima facie, this looks very nice and sweet. Okay, but now we will get into the details. Advocate Joni will get into the details, so I'm not getting into the details of the same. Okay. Now the third one is Essential Commodities Amendment Act 2020. According to me, this is the most dangerous fund because this lifts all kinds of barriers on companies to procure and stock foodstuff. So this is the shortest of all the three, just 2-page amendment. Okay, it has lifted all kinds of bans on anybody to stock and keep stock of any kind of food grain, including wheat, rice, cereals, pulses, and all sorts of food grains. Okay, so these are the three bills in short. Then this is the last slide. The most important point I will start with is the dispute resolution. Okay, the dispute resolution says that there is no role for the current judiciary in the whole system. It has to be done by SDM level executives, subdivisional magistrate. The first line of dispute resolution is subdivisional magistrate, then the district collector, then the third level of authority is the joint secretary in Government of India. And it specifically says that no civil court shall have jurisdiction to entertain any suit. This is the biggest issue. Advocate Joni will speak about in detail. They are trying to get rid of the entire judicial system, bypass them, and then push this through only through the executives whom they can influence. Okay. Then there is also one more provision of blanket protection to government and government officers. No suit, prosecution, or other legal proceedings shall lie against the central government or state government or any officer of central government or the state government or any person in respect of anything which is done in good faith. Please note the point, in good faith. As you know, our governments do everything in good faith, right? So whatever they do, they are not liable for anything. That is basically everything in a nutshell. This is in a nutshell. Okay. So this is what I have to say as an introductory note. Okay. That's the last slide. So I'm stopping my presentation. I hope everyone heard it properly. Now with this, I declare this session inaugurated. And now I hand over the mic to Father Anthony and Advocate Joni.
Thank you, Mr. Alexa, for inaugurating this webinar from Saudi Arabia. Now, I welcome Advocate Joni K. George to deliver the first speech. He may speak on the commonness of these three laws detailing and the implications on it. Thank you, sir. Mr. Joni.
Yes. Good afternoon, everybody. It's my proud to share the platform with the eminent legends in this field, and I may thank everyone. First of all, see, even though I got invited to speak at first, I feel Mr. James Fodakin, sir, he also in the platform and he will speak. I think he got invited after me. But considering my age and his experience in this particular field, I may say that he is the best person to speak first. Okay. But with the due permission, I may begin because our schedule is like this. I am being the first person to talk. First of all, I may say, is it audible?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Because I am using two gadgets. For the video, I am using the computer, and the audio, I am using the phone, because if there is any failure that I need to overcome, thereby I am using two gadgets. Okay. So I would like to thank Logmanch and Adi for your fair decision to educate the people. I have gone through the details of the meetings you have been arranging and you have already completed. the most eminent persons, including Justice Kurian Joseph, shared the platform with you, can be considered as proud. So I may say, first of all, we are living in a society where everything managed by the law, which enacted for the betterment of the society. First of all, I don't have any complaints for the intervention of some other sounds, because even Justice Kurian Joseph sir, he also faced the same problem when he was delivering the speech. So I have no complaints. Then who are cooperating and participating, they may kindly consider that issue. Okay. So I'm coming to the point. So when I come across with the profile of James Wadakin sir, I could come to know that more than last 40 years he is in the platform and he is doing a lot of agitation and interfering almost all the public issues. And his experience, as I told you, as I said, then his experience is more than my age. Okay. So we are admitting that there is a system of administration is there that's existing. And there are different legislature. They are doing enactment for us. And all those for the betterment of the society. That's a prime concern, prime object for the enactment, for all the enactments. No doubt at all. No doubt at all. The cardinal law of the land is the Constitution, as you know. Because in all the meetings have begun with the reading of Constitution preamble. So the preamble is very sweet. If we in one of the amendment, the preamble itself becomes the body part of that. So even though the preamble is amended, there is no amendment, even without amending that body of the text, the preamble got amended for adding some words about the secularism. So here I may invite you to one aspect. First, what is federalism? What is federal system? As you know, the union and the states, they are empowered to do the enactments, pass the necessary laws for the well-being of the citizen of India. So I may say, passing of some enactments by the union, whether they are intruding the rights envisaged by the Constitution for solely for the states, whether they are intruding on it. I don't want to place any comments over this issue about politically, because I don't want to step into the shoes of any politicians. Okay, first of all, I need to enlighten the provisions and interpret the existing enactments, whether those are legal or illegal, whether those are partial, whether those are for the betterment of the persons or for the betterment of the corporates, whether it's having some merits or some demerits. So all those, okay, all those will be considered as a subject matter for our discussion. So anyway, first of all, I may come to the point directly. So there is a schedule called the 7th schedule. Even though we are living in this society, 99.99% of the total population, they have no idea about the laws existing on the land. So there's the importance of this the long munch and the associated organizations. Thereby, I said, it's a great endeavor, great endeavor. I may specifically thank to Father Lenin Anthony for making such a platform and enabling the marginalized and the downtrodden for getting some information about the existing laws. So I may come to the Constitution. If the law is an ocean, the eminent people know only a spoon or a glass of that. Okay. That's a situation, because all the existing laws, even that cannot be mugged by a person who is standing in the very same fraternity or something related to the law system. Even a retired judge also cannot understand all the laws existing on the land, even though those are existing for enabling the people's welfare. So when I am coming, so what I am trying to convince you that these 40 minutes or 35 minutes are not sufficient enough to convince all the aspects, all the provisions of the law, but only the necessary points I mean say that what is seventh schedule and what is stated there in the seventh schedule and what was the purpose of that. As you know, even before the independence, as you know, as per the Indian Independence Act, there were a lot of provinces, a lot of independent rulers, and they were assembled together. And some laws, some enactments assembled them for making the Union India. So geographically also there are a lot of difference in all the sense, economically, geographically, culturally, socially, in the field of education, and everywhere those are diversity. So all the diversity, digesting with all those diversity, admitting all those diversity, there was the decision for making a union. So thereby, the Union of India came in force. So when the constitution was drafted, I must say that there was no legends lived as Dr. B.R. Ambedkar in India. Even though the enactment of the Indian Constitution that came in force on 26th day of November 1949, I may humbly say that I could not come across anybody else thereafter. So having such an education, living for education, sleeping for education, even walking for education, wherever he stated something, he always uplifted the necessity of the education. Such a man was led the Constitutional Assembly. So he drafted, or he led the team for drafting the Indian Constitution. It's our proud. I must say that more than 9 doctorates he acquired, even from the Oxford University. And he was well versed with all the existing laws on different nations, and thereby he adopted something good and he avoided the bad. So I'm again coming to the 7th schedule. The 7th schedule, it's very specific that which are the laws, which are the enactments, or which are the subject can be considered by the Union and which are not supposed to be considered by the Union. So the list was very specific. So thereby, as you know, in some discussions I come across, even I witnessed some people, some leading political leaders, they are arguing in between. You say something about concurrent list. Oh, no, you have begun the issue. No, you just say something about the state list. In fact, I may humbly say that most of our leaders don't know what is concurrent list, what is state list, and what is union list. So it's very simple. So the federalism or the objective of federalism, that is nothing but the right of the union or right of the state shall not be overridden by the right of the state. So even in some fields, it is inevitable to pass the enactments by both the central, both the union and the states. So it's a very important schedule, that is 7th schedule. So here we may consider, in fact, the matter of agriculture is listed in the state list. But even though the existing laws, almost all the laws relating to the farming, agriculture, and about the persons, and even their trading also, all those enactments are central enactments, and all citizens living under the territory of union, they are liable to be abided by the terms. So I may come to some other points also relating to the constitution. In the 7th schedule, even though the agriculture is a matter of state list, or the enactments must be by the state, some other acts and some other articles from part number 13, that's article 301(2), article 307, All those articles too, articles relating to the trade, commerce, and intercourse between the territory of India. Then I may come to the present enactment. So whether that is progressive, it's a merit and a demerit, so we will discuss later. Before that, I may say something. Then there are, as Mr. Alex said, there are 3 enactments. Act of 21 of 2020, 22 of 2020, and the 20 of 2020. So let us consider first. And why these 3 enactments? Okay. That's a matter to be considered first. Why these 3 enactments? Because 3 enactments are relating to 3 different fields. The 3 different fields. First, let us consider the matter of farming. Secondly, the trading of the agricultural crops. The third one, about the storage, processing, and even we may say hoardings and such businesses. So here, the first part about the farming. So the first bill 20 of 2020, that is relating to farming. So before entering to the present enactment of the Farmers Empowerment and Protection Agreement on Price Assurance and Farm Services Act 2020, that needs to be considered first. So here, the situations in different states are different. The ground reality can be understood only through getting some personal information about all those. Sometimes the situations in all those states may be different from our understanding. So here I may say that sometimes something fishy behind that. Okay, we may say something fishy may behind that. Even the hue and cries are going on. There may be conflicting observations about that. Even Mr. James Sodakan sir also may have some conflicting opinion about the existing bills. So this bill, the objectives, as Mr. Alex said, I feel it's a sweet foisted bill. Everywhere there are something stated about the upliftment of the farmers. As you know, the farmers, today I come across a comment on Facebook that one person, he put a comment that the farmers, they are coming for the agitation with a 50,000 rupees worth iPhone and the modern gadgets. So I felt very bad, because I may ask you something. That's is it mandated that a farmer must be always downtrodden and marginalized? Is it mandated? But very unfortunately, the society, they created such an impression through the frequent or the somehow our society is made the farmers as downtrodden and marginalized. A farmer need not be a marginalized or the downtrodden. There may be the farmers, they're having a financial soundness, all those, and they are giving their service to the society, everything. Okay. So here, through the farmers agreement, I'm not consuming much time because the time scheduled for me is very less. Okay. So through the farmers empowerment and the protection agreement, what was the government intended? The farmers must get a good value for their crops and they must get some assistance for the farming. So here we don't know whether all the lands in those areas in the North India, like the states like Punjab and Haryana, whether the farm is there directly farming or not, we don't know. But the very essential, what to say, the very important point to be considered in this particular act is that some strangers other than the owners, they are entering to the business of farming and they are making some agreements with the landowners, or we can call them as the farmers. They are entering with some agreements. Okay, that is the one of the main essential in that particular act. through that agreement, the farmers are getting some assistance, or even the person who is entering in the agreement, he is addressed as sponsor in this act, sponsor. So a sponsor can approach the farmer or the landowner, and he can very well enter in an agreement, a farming agreement with the farmer, and thereby the farmer is getting assistance for the agriculture, provided there will be a contract between this farmer and the sponsor. So always, in fact, there is absolutely nothing stated about the contract which demanded to execute between the farmer and the sponsor. That is not stated here. There is nothing stated. So the provisions are in. We don't know what are the terms will be stated there in the farmers' agreement. So here, it is very interesting that even though the hue and cry is progressing, everything depends on the farmers' agreement only. The execution of the terms in that particular agreement, that has to be considered separately. The act itself, that's opened the doors to the sponsors to enter in any number of agreements, to cultivate in any extent of the properties, and have agreement or contractual relationship with the farmers to any number of farmers. So thereby, the doors are opened to anyone. There is no stipulation, there is no ideas about the interstate or intrastate or any citizen. They can enter in the agreement, or they can be a sponsor. Even I can be a sponsor, even the corporate Adani or Ambani can be a sponsor. That may be the liberty of the farmer or the landowner to whom the agreement need to be executed. So definitely that's a platform. That's a matter to be discussed a little seriously. Okay. When I am approaching a farmer, sometimes I may have some capacity to enter in an agreement with a farmer. So I am approaching that farmer for executing an agreement. At the very same time, the person, the other, he is coming there. He may be a corporate or having more capacity than me. He is negotiating, or his agents negotiating with the farmer. And the farmer, passively, he will go for the good. Okay. Thereby, on the whole area, that will come under the control of some corporates. That's one of the major issues to be addressed. If we are looking in some other angle, it's good sometimes, because we may feel the farmer getting more opportunity for bargaining and getting and choosing the best option for him. So here, when the farmer entered in an agreement, that contractual relationship is based on the terms and conditions stipulated in that particular contract only, not in this law. See, the law is only a frame. The actual contents or the terms and conditions abided by the farmers or the parties in that agreement, that's based on that contract only. So everything on that particular contract. So here, after executing contract or after executing this farming agreement, the sponsor will provide, sometimes as per this act, the 1/3 of the total cultivation cost must be given to the farmer. Maybe there may be a good intention that some of the farmers, even now also, they are taking money there from the money lenders with a huge interest, and they're making much trouble to the downtrodden peasants. Okay, that's true. So we may feel providing such a term in that particular act that's enabling the peasants for getting the money from the sponsor directly, and they can very well do the agriculture. Well and good. So then crop shall be given to the sponsor. That also based on the contractual agreement. That's the agreement between the farming agreement between the sponsor and the farmer only. Then there is a hardship. I am not going through the provision to provision just because we may not get time for that. So I will explain the gist of the issue. So then there, the minimum standard of the crops must be maintained. By whom? By the farmer. So with the money, with the financial assistance given by the sponsor, the farmer is cultivating in his own land, and the crops shall be up to the standard demanding by some other agency. That also will be outsourced, because there will be 2 people. And there may be some agencies, but nothing stated in this act about any government agency will measure that, or some government agencies will be constituted for checking whether that crops are up to the level up to the standard demanding. So there is no MSP. I think you might have discussed about all these already. Then minimum support price is not guaranteed there. So now what's the system going on? If I am a farmer, I am doing some agriculture like wheat or rice. We are taking this to the mandi, and the mandi system, all those, I think you have gone through all this mandi system and all. That's a system existing. We can consider that the mandi is a market. So the only difference is that the mandi having some commission agents. There are some equipped commission agents. They are getting 2.5% of commission. If you are considering the matter of Punjab and Haryana, I think there are thousands of mandi agents, commission agents are there. They are getting a commission of 2.5%.
I think he's Johnny. I think you are muted. Johnny Vakil.
Could you unmute? Yeah, Johnny sir.
Is it audible?
Yeah, now okay. Now okay.
Yeah.
Father, can you just ignite where I stopped or where it got muted?
1 minute before only. Just 2 sentences only you spoke. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, as you know, in the mandi, this market, there are some commission agents, and also there will be the agents of the FCI, Food Corporation of India. So this some part. So this particular act, that is Act of Farmers Empowerment and Protection Agreement or Price Assurance and Farm Services Act, that is limiting or that condition, that the stipulations in that particular act, we can hold that. Okay. Before discussing about the other act that is relating to the trade. All these enactments, all these 3 enactments can be discussed in toto and not separately. That only will serve the purpose. So the Act of 20 of 21, that is relating to the farming agreement. There's some hardship that there is no role for the civil courts for dealing with this particular agreement. Because no court shall, there is a rider, there is an embargo, no court shall grant the injunction, and the dispute settlements that will be by some other agency. Normally there is a dispute redressal system is working. Even now also some arbitration system is working. But here the arbitration system or the redressal system, that will be led by this RDO. RDO is the first authority. There will be 2 representatives of farmer and the sponsor. So always the schedule of the land, that is about the farmer's land only, not with the sponsor's land. So the details of the sponsor's land is not there, but the details of the farmer's land, that is with the sponsor always. So the sponsor may approach, yes. And so I have been talking something about mandi. Okay, let me finish that. So when the business with the commission agent could not, it was not well worthy, then that farmer can directly approach the agent sitting there, FCI agent. They can sell his goods to that FCI. That is about the public distribution system. The FCI will purchase all those goods. The farmer won't be constrained to take back his goods to his home or to district there, because he is guaranteed with MSP, minimum support price. So he will get that. He will definitely get that minimum support price in the mandi, even though they are paying the tax. That's a minimum commission of 2.5% and 5.5% to the mandi tax. But in the other side, the mandi business also allowed. Okay, that also can be continued. But there is a non-obstante clause envisaged in that particular act. That is, non-obstante clause means if a new enactment that is stating something, particularly it's a central enactment, that is, if there is a non-obstante clause provided, notwithstanding anything containing in any other act which existing in states or the union, all those acts will be overridden by the new enactment. That is called non-obstante clause. So here is a non-obstante clause, and all the state laws will be rolled out through this enactment. So there is no role for the state. There is no tax. State tax can be levied. So all those chapters are closed. Then what will happen? This agents of the sponsors or the sponsors, they are directly doing the procurement, but they can very well deny to collect the procurement from the farmer, stating that the goods are not up to the standard as envisaged in the contract. There, the farmer not getting any opportunity to approach any civil court, because the system that is giving some rider that not to approach the civil court, there is no room for such litigation also. So that's the hardship with that particular enactment. In that part, a farmer failed to provide all the parties. Always in this act, if you are reading this draft as a whole, we can directly find anything against farmers, because everywhere it is used for the way it's done for the empowerment of the farmer. I may read the clause number 14b. The parties failed to settle the dispute through conciliation process, decide the dispute in a summary manner within 30 days from the date of receipt of such dispute, after giving the parties a reasonable opportunity of being heard, and pass an order for recovery of the amount under dispute, with such penalty and interest as it deems fit, subject to the following condition. So, even though the sponsor providing money and some disputes occurring, and on that particular juncture, the sponsor is at liberty to get back his money. But very unfortunately, I must say that the farmer is not putting all this money in his pocket. He's spending everything on his farm. So whatever he, being a person, he cannot save all those money in the bank. He may be, but I'm trying to say that he's spending all those money for the cultivation. He may not be able to return that money. Even though there is no revenue recovery proceedings are possible against the land, farmer's land, but the farmer is duty bound to abide by the award passing by the redressal authority. So it's a little bit confusing. So I'm enlightened with that particular portion. So here, even though the revenue recovery is not allowed with the farmer's land, the farmer is duty bound to give back that amount, and the redressal, that form award shall be considered as a deemed decree by a civil court. It's a deemed decree. Even though there is no room for the interference of the court, the deemed decree can be executed as a normal civil court decree executed. I hope the matter is digesting, even though it's a little bit confusing. Let me clear once again. The court not passing any order because the civil court not interfering in the matter, but the decree passing or the award passing by the redressal system shall be considered as a deemed decree, but no appeal can be taken to the court. The deemed decree can be executed as the same way how a decree executing, or that is one of the major issues in that. Why I don't know why they are detaching the court system from the execution of the provisions of this particular act. Why they are afraid about the court? Why they are very particular that the court shall not interfere in this matter? I feel that is intruding the rights of the judiciary. Because what is our law? One who making the law, he shall not interpret the law. One who interpreting the law, he shall not execute the law. So thereby these three systems are working. As you know, legislature, judiciary, executive. Why all these pillars are different? Why those are keeping as separate watertight compartments, even though there are some interrelationship? So here that is very cutting the very root of this existing system as envisaged in the constitution. That they're closing the doors to the judiciary, that no civil court having power to pass any injunction order. Why? This is one of the matter to be considered. Then the I'm coming to the next act also. The next one, the Farmers Produce Trade and Commerce Promotion and Facilitation Act. I think the draft, I may say this is cut and paste, because most of the provisions in the earlier act, that is repeated, reproduced in this act also. But it is framed as an act of some trade act, okay, that is relating to the trade and commerce. It is in bracket, it is in the name of the act itself, it is stated that Promotion and Facilitation Act. The Farmers Produce Trade and Commerce Promotion and Facilitation Act. So there, about the objective, there shall be promotion and facilitation. For what? Not only the farming, the promotion of trade and commerce also. So for promoting the trade and commerce, the act having some sections up to 20. I think most of the participants of this meeting, this Zoom meeting, they might have gone through this act. So I don't think there is any necessity for explaining each and every close-to-close explanation. So even though I'm not going through the close-to-close explanation, I will read something from this act, section 4. Any trader, section 4 of this particular act, any trader may engage in the interstate trade or intrastate trade of scheduled farmers' produce with a farmer or other trader in a trade area. See, it's most confusing. The act there are enabling provisions of interstate trade, intrastate trade of scheduled farmers' produce with a farmer or another trader in a trade area. So which is the trade area? The trade area not defined anywhere in this act. So there, in almost all the acts, there will be definition clauses, but the trade area not seen defined. But interstate trade and intrastate trade defined in the section 2. In the section 2, subclause E, it is stated that interstate trade means the act of buying or selling of farmers' produce wherein a trader of one state buys the farmers' produce from the farmer of a trader of another state, and such farmers' produce is transported to a state other than the state in which the trader purchases such farmers' produce or where such farmers' produce originate. So in short, all the non-business are possible. There is no ideas at all. Then intrastate trade means the act of buying or selling of farmers' produce when a trader of one state buys the farmer's produce from a farmer or a trader of the same state in which the trader purchases such farmers' produce or where such farmers' produce originates. In fact, absolutely no ideas. Absolutely no ideas at all. They can do any business, everywhere, anywhere relating to this farmers, this crops and all. So here, what's happening actually? There are some state tax, because that's being the backbone of the state economy. About the economy, our well-known economist will talk about that. He may have some conflicting opinion about about my opinion, my observation, even though he will state more about that. Yes. So therein, the Farmers Produce Trade and Commerce Promotion and Facilitation Act 2020. That is opening all doors for everybody. So there will be the competition. The first phase of the implementation of this particular act, definitely, I feel that will definitely disrupt the public distribution system. Because there will be competition on the first few months or first phase of the that's the implementation period. The first phase there will be competition. Then if there is no competition, that will lead to monopoly, as usual in any other fields. So we may feel that how many of us approaching the public distribution system? It's a very serious question, always placing by the persons they are opposed, they are supporting the bill. There are two, the one who's supporting the bill. They're always asking that question. Particularly in Kerala, that's asking how many of us are approaching the ration shops. But the one who are approaching, they're getting the liberty, they're getting the rights, because all those are constitutional rights. They're getting some rights on a famine, on a flood, but on an inevitable circumstance. If there is scarcity, how that will affect? If there is no public distribution system, how the government can feed the people? Because the sponsors are not duty bound to supply the food grains, because this is something related to the food grains, not like anything else. It's a matter of survival. So if the government or government authorities or the public sector not equipped with sufficient hoarding, or there is no sufficient procurement by the state, how the state can feed the citizen? It's a very serious question to be looked into. It is very clear that the public distribution system can be destroyed through the interference of some of the corporates, if they are deciding so. So nowadays the corporates, most of the corporates, they are concentrating in some other industries and all. So what compelling them to concentrate in the farming business also? That's farming business. It's a perpetual business, because whatever the inventions, whatever the developments, whatever the scientific developments, the people need food. So that is the most stable business can be relied upon. So here they are directly pumping money to the public market and doing the procurement. And there will be the destruction of the opponents within a short span. Till that time, they can be sweet foisted and they can pump money. They can facilitate the farmers. They can give much money. And sometimes for the first span, we may say that the economy, the standard of living of the farmers may be lifted to. But we will have to face the second stage also. In the second stage, there is no procurement by the FCI, how the food can be transferred. So that is to be looked into. So I am of the opinion that the public distribution system shall not be distracted, because if that distracts, the sponsors, even though they are having much hoarding, the next catch, okay, we are discussing the matter coupled with the Essential Commodities Act also, because I am already consuming the time of
Could you summarize within 5 to 7 minutes, sir, so that our James sir will have more time?
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
So I am going to the next. That's second act also over. The third act, it's a very, very short amendment. It's not at all a new enactment. It's only an amendment. So there we need to consider that what was the situation for passing an enactment in the 1955. The people relating to this particular field, they used to say that's the ship-to-mouth policy. Ship-to-mouth policy. Actually, what was the ship-to-mouth policy? The people they had been they had been opening their mouth for getting the food, such scarcity and all those there. And during that time, the people were waiting for the ship for getting food. And during that time, in the 1955, the Essential Commodities Act passed. Actually, the prime objective of that particular enactment was deterring the hoarding and the black market. And that was the prime objective of that particular act. Here, through the amendment, the cutting the very root of that objective also. As you know, objective is only a preface. That is not the part of the enactment. As you know, the preface, the objective of a law is not the part of the body of the law, because that's a preface about the enactment. So here, what is the amendment in the Essential Commodities Act through the new Amendment Act of 22 of 2020? So there, the sponsors or the traders, they are at liberty to go for the hoarding. No one will question. When the price in the open market that increasing up to 100% for the perishable commodities. Perishable commodities means horticulture. That's like vegetable and all perishable commodities. And 50% of the on the non-perishable commodities, the government cannot interfere in the business of traders. Even if there is hike in the price also, there is other rider that if an organization or if some corporates or a person or a trader, they're doing the business of food processing, that fine won't be affected by the Essential Commodities Act. That only a middleman business doing business, he only will be affected with the price hike also. Otherwise, if the hoarding is for the purpose of processing that is nowhere defined, and the process can be anything. So if there is such a business or they obtained the license for the processing of food, they are not duty bound to abide with the provisions of the Essential Commodities Act. I don't know up to which extent my words are digesting. I hope you are understanding something. Father, please respond. Father, is audible?
Yeah, please, surely.
I don't know whether you are listening or not. Is it digesting, Father? Please respond.
Yeah, I don't know if it is very digesting, but it's okay. We will listen.
Because I don't know without getting any response, because I am blindly speaking to the screen.
That is the way. Zoom and Google Meet, we cannot.
Yes, okay. Some conflicting opinion will be listened by you later. Okay. Okay. So what I'm trying to convince you, that the Essential Commodities Act, cutting the very root of the Essential Commodities Act and its objectives, and through allowing everybody to make the hoarding. So it's very clear that they are anticipating the price hike up to 50% for the non-perishable commodities and 100% over the perishable commodities. That is true. Then what will happen? Whether these private traders, we can categorize them as the private traders, not the public traders, or not the part of the what to say, something related to the government. Whether the private traders, whether they are duty bound to retain or to supply to the public market when there is a scarcity or a famine. No, they are not duty bound. So then where we will get the food? Then they will always, through the farming agreement, the persons, if they are decisive to do some interested farming for the purpose of exporting and all, they cannot be dictated by the existing act. They are at the liberty. They may say that I am going to what to say, I cultivate some cotton. Okay, I am not going to cultivate the food banks. No one can compel. This system cannot compel that you will have to cultivate it. How? Because there is an enactment. I entered in the enactment, or sorry, I entered in the contract with the farmers on the backbone of the existing enactment. So no system can deter them from. So they are the issue. Okay. So in total, we are considering all these three enactments. It feels, or on a peripheral reading, we may feel that the farmers will be the beneficiaries. Here we need to consider the interest of the farmers and the interest of the consumers also. As far as our state concerned, our Kerala, it's a consumer state. But our Adi and all, they are working at international level, and they're having some business with almost all the states. So we need to consider as a whole. So I do agree that the marginalized and the downtrodden shall be uplifted. Okay, the benefit, sometimes it may be some amendments. Only through some amendments it can be implemented, because that's keeping away the interference of the court and MSP, cutting the very root of MSP, and the public distribution system also may not work. So I will give you one example. It is true that as per the Act, anybody can enter into the agreement. You may go and enter in the agreement with the farmer and you may go for the trade. There the issue will come. Up to which extent an ordinary businessman competing with the corporate? That is to be considered. So it will not only affect the farmers, it will definitely affect the entire population, what I feel. So I may.
Yes, sir.
Whatever I stated, that is something I am not at all interfering in the politics and arts. I would like to convince you about some basic features and essentials or some basic character of these enactments. So I would like to thank everybody. Then after the further discussions, we may enlighten with some more provisions if it is required. So thank you for the platform. I'm so glad to participate in this webinar. I'm so glad to hear from you all. Then I am eagerly waiting for the presentation of the land legend. I'm proudly inviting him also. Thank you so much.
Ashwati, 1 minute, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Advocate Johnny K. George. Next, I would like to welcome Mr. James Vadakan, sir, for talking.
Sir, unmute sir. I can talk, sir.
Hello.
Yes, sir. We can hear you.
Can you hear you? Can you hear
yes,
me?
yes, sir.
Okay, let me start directly because
yes,
this is an issue which needs awares and awares, but our time is very limited.
Yes, sir.
So basically, as all you know, 3 acts are 2 acts came and 1 act got amended. That is Essential Commodities Act. The nutshell of the issue is that now farmers are given a freedom to sell their produce wherever they want to sell at whatever cost they want to do. So nearly it is an issue where the old clutches of the farmers has been removed. That is the way I see it. There is a saying that whenever you pray, you should pray very carefully, because at some point of time God may give you what you prayed and you cannot digest it. So I feel that this is the situation where whatever the farmers has prayed for, got it. Can you hear me? Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Audible, sir. Audible, sir.
Okay, we can hear you, sir. Can you carry on, sir?
So now see, I am not going to the nitty-gritty of the 3 acts or its present position, but one thing it is very clear. I personally had a feeling that, or if you see the scenario of the agitations going after the amendment or going after when the 2 legislations came into the picture, it was purely raised from Haryana and Punjab. So I personally feel that there is a Haryana-Punjab factor for this agitation. I will tell you why. I will come to that points in the subsequent my detailings. This is not a national issue. If it is a national issue, this issue have raised in all the state capitals. This issue has raised in all the states. But unfortunately, this issue is getting raised in the state of Haryana and Punjab initially. From there, it has gone as a mass agitation, supported by Haryana and Punjab farmers. And I don't know what is happening to the rest of the state, where majority or more than 90% of the agricultural produce are produced. So that is the first question and first thinking which all the participants have to bear in mind. Why there is a Punjab and Haryana factor for this? And if you see the last 1 week or 10 days presentations or social media interactions and gatherings, it is telling that Adani and Ambani is coming and taking up the entire system of India, including food production, food consumption, in food storage, FC, everything. See, these are all whereby the real issue is being getting sidelines. So naturally, what we should see, or what are the present issues? Okay, now agitation is going for the last 10 days or 15 days. Now certain core issues has been developed. This has been discussed, I think, 2 months back also. And when we discussed these 3 bills at a senior platform, we found that there are 3-4 major issues which should be resolved. The first was that there should be a minimum support price for all the agricultural producers. As you know, there are only MSP or minimum support price for just 32 items of the entire agricultural producer of India, which may be more than 2,000, 3,000. So only 32 items are under the minimum support price. The second issue was that the minimum support price should be fixed every year based on the cost of production, the inflation, actual wages of the organized labor, and not just the agricultural labor. The third point is that even though when the new law comes, the existing mandi should be permitted to continue as it is, because these mandis are constituted and run by the state government, and these mandis are now managed by independent mandi managements at the local level, which may or may not include farmers. So the law should permit existing mandis to continue as it was earlier. The law never says that the mandis should be closed. No, the mandis can continue. But anyhow, for a clarity, it should permit that the mandis should continue. The fourth issue was that there should be a clause in any of these laws to confirm that any buying or procurement of agricultural producers below the minimum support price, MSP, should be a criminal offense. And the fifth issue was that there should be a dispute resolution in these legislations, which should be a judicial dispute resolution, like a farmer court. We have family courts, we have motor claims accident tribunals, because we have so many independent tribunals and courts when the general court is functioning. So likewise, any of these courts, either a family court or a MSCT court, can be designated as a court where the farmer disputes regarding the contract farming is coming. So these are the 5 major issues which came as a product of these two legislations and 1 amendment. So these are the background of it. The litigation is going on, the agitation is going on. But I just want to invite all of you to the 1991 scenario. If these agitations or if these pro-agitation issues or the opinions are taken up, we will not be in a position to conduct a meeting of like this in a webinar, because we will not be given these opportunities. The mobile might not have come, the online networking might not have come. See, the 1991 was an year where the Indian industry and the Indian mass people got out of the regulatory clutches of the economics, or whatever I tell, politics also. So from 1991 onwards, from the 1991 liberalization, India came to a place in 2020 where we can compete with anybody. But all the liberalizations came to everybody, the farmers. The farmers were not given freedom. You know, almost all the was withdrawn, but not in the agriculture sector. Your prices are regulated. You cannot sell the produce outside any place other than the mandi. So if you see it as a total, this was from 1991 to 2020, the regulated markets for the farmers, or the farmers were controlled by the politicians not to sell the produce at a price which should fetch them a real living income. I take it as that way. So now I see 2020 legislations as a scenario where the 1991 scenario again came back, at least for the farmers. So this is where I see this amendments, I see the legislations as a thing which will help the farmers in the future, not now, may not be now, immediately. But over a period of time, these legislations will help the farmers to get a decent living. Now you come to the political stance of the political parties. See, I am very sorry to say that the Congress, which leads the United Progressive Alliance, in their election manifesto in 2019, under the heading DAAM, DAM, an economy that works for all agricultural farmers and farm labor. Anybody can go and see the Congress manifesto of 2019 and take a DAAM, you can get it. The election manifesto 2019 assures that. You please hear it. Congress has heard the cry of the anguished farmers and feels the pain of their acute distress. Under point number 9, Congress assures that Congress will promote farmer producer companies, organizations to enable to farmers to access inputs, technology, and markets. Under point number 11, the Congress assures that Congress will repeal the Agricultural Produce Market Committee Act, which means that the APMC Act will have or should have been repelled by the Congress if UPA had come to power in 2019. That is the election manifesto. So under point number 12, they say that we will establish farmers markets with adequate infrastructure and support in large villages and small towns. In point number 21, the Essential Commodities Act 1955 belongs to the age of controls. Congress promises to replace the act by an enabling law. Hello?
Yes, sir.
Hello?
Continue, sir.
Yeah, enabling law that can be invoked only in the case of emergencies. So what the Congress has told, that they will repeal the AMC Act, which means that the mandis will not be there. The Congress told that they will amend the Essential Commodities Act so that anybody can buy and sell produces. So this is a scenario just 1 year back. So there is no logic in Congress or any of its allies fighting against these laws because these laws were their own suggestions. Again, you come back to the Punjab government, which is in the forefront of the agitation now. In 2013, the Punjab government passed the Punjab Contract Farming Act to provide a legal framework for the contract farming. See, in 2013, 7 years back, the Punjab government itself asked for a Contract Farming Act. Okay, these are the political stance of the parties which is now spearheading the agitation. Now, if you come to these three acts, this is not an act which has come into the forefront through an ordinance without any planning. Now, the agitationers are telling, or the intelligentsia is telling that these acts were come without any proper planning. It is not wrong, totally wrong. If you go back to history in 2001, the BJP and the Agaridal Summit in Amritsar has convened a special meeting to discuss about the plight of the farmers and to identify which all areas should be developed or which all areas should be done to increase the income of the farmers. 2001. And see, Narendra Modi was the chairman of that committee in 2001. From 2001 onwards, that committee was working in very detail to see how the farmers' income can be increased. So it is a 20-year, as far as Narendra Modi is concerned, it's a 20-year exercise in which he himself was the chairman. So he was studying it and he might have come with an option. Again, we have to see Article 19 of the Constitution. Article 19 of the Constitution says that there should be a freedom of trade and commerce and it should be guaranteed. See, where were the freedom of trade and commerce for the farmers for these many years? It was not there. He cannot sell a produce at a cost which is profitable for him. No, he is not even getting the subsistence wages for his producers. So if you see that angle also, see, now only the farmers got their right under Article 19. That means they are free to sell their products at a cost which they can offer. See, all these issues started from the Green Revolution. If you go back to history, all these issues of the MSP, of the APMC, all these came from the, success of the Green Revolution. See, an agricultural scientist called Norman Borlaug, he bought a variety of wheat which give you 10 times the yield if you give 3 times higher. See, that issue was taken care of by the Punjab farmers. The wheat and rice production started beyond the limits. So whatever the Punjabis or Haryanas wanted to consume, they produced 10 times of it. So somebody has to procure it. Somebody has to procure it and somebody has to transfer it. Somebody has to distribute across the country. So that is where the minimum support price and the APMC markets came. So during 1970, there are two types of supports. One was the minimum support price and second was the procurement price. See, the minimum support price was a price at which the government will procure a thing if it is below the price, like the rubber incentive scheme of Kerala. If the rubber price is 120 rupees, the government will pay 30 rupees and pay 150 rupees totally. So likewise, in the 90s, they started with the minimum support price. And initially, the procurement price was higher than the minimum support price. But later, you see the politics of, or the economics work, the market of economics worked, and the minimum support price and the procurement price came one and the same. So, if you see these things, you have to see these things in another perspective. Literally, really, these APMC markets to ensure that the general public gets food products at a price which is the cheapest. As far as I am concerned, the low-cost food produce is now subsidized by the farmers and not the government. So farmers bear the brunt of it. Farmers cannot get economic development. Farmers cannot go for a good decent of living because they were forced to sell their produce at a price which the government fixes. So literally speaking, farmers became the food subsidizers of the nation and not the government. If you come back to the MSP, that's a minimum support price. It is not a minimum support price. It is a commission business and a money lending business. If the problem is of MSP, actually the problem is of not of MSP. The problem is now of an interstate purchase and sale of food producers. As you all know, majority of the or bulk of the rice and the wheat are produced in Haryana and Punjab. It has to be sold through interstate. So somebody has to procure it. So the Punjab government and the Haryana government started their mandis. They started procuring it. And they started selling to the Food Corporation of India. From Food Corporation of India, it asked the advocate, Johnny told earlier, it comes to the public distribution systems of all the states. Literally speaking, if you come to the statistics of it, because in order to see the politics and the economics behind it, you have to understand the economics behind it. So actually last year, 80,000 crores worth of wheat and paddy were procured by Food Corporation of India from Punjab and Haryana, 80,000 crores. For that, nearly, somebody said it is 6,000 commission agents or mandis, some say 30,000, whatever it be. This procurement is done through the mandis only. Last year, 129.12 lakh metric tons of wheat was procured. The middleman commission paid is of 460 rupees per ton. That means the potential commission for the mandi markets, which is controlled by business people or the local traders, is nearly 600 crores per year. You see the business behind these mandis. It is 600 crores managed by a group of maybe less than 1 lakh people or 20,000 people. So they are the most, influential people behind there. And again, if you see, Punjab produced 17% of the total wheat production in India last year. But Food Corporation of India procured 38% of its procurement from Punjab, which means that out of the total 100, 38 kgs of wheat was procured from Punjab alone. And Punjab is not the single state which cultivates wheat. So it is a Punjab-Haryana, I told the Punjab-Haryana effect. It's a Punjab-Haryana centric procurement business for the Food Corporation of India. Same runs for rice production also. When Punjab produces 11% of the rice across the state, across the nation, the Food Corporation of India procures 27% of the rice from Punjab alone. So if you see the mathematics or politics behind it, Punjab and Haryana and its mandis and its mandi managers are the most influential people in the food sector or in the rice sector. And they have the capacity to raise even lakhs and lakhs of people to come for agitation in Delhi. That is because it is a money power. It is not the farmer's plight. It is the money power of the mandi managers there to do whatever they want it. Just one thing to remind. See, if you read the newspapers, day before yesterday, the Central Agriculture Minister has already agreed for the whatever. I raised 5 issues earlier. Out of that, they told that they will guarantee that mandis will continue. They will guarantee that the MSP will continue. See, these two basic issues, the agitation started for these two basic issues. Now, these two basic issues has been agreed by the government of India. Now they say that, no, you repeal the entire act. Why should they repeal the entire act? What is wrong in that another person, or say the Kerala State Civil Suppliers Corporation opens a shop in Ludhiana and procures rice for Kerala? What is wrong? They will permit it. Only mandis can procure it, which means that the entire business which they were amassing now through the mandis and its agents should continue, and there should not be any competitors for it. That is the issue behind it. This may be my personal opinion, but from the experience I gathered for so many years, I find that The agitation is to see that no competition comes to the middlemen who procures the food grains from Punjab and Haryana and the rest of the country also. I see, if you see the history of Punjab, or if somebody studies the farming practice of Punjab, there is a word called Theka, Theka. Theka is nothing but it is contract farming. See, there are 1,600 farming villages in Punjab. If you make a study, or somebody interested, or somebody hearing this, if they're interested, then can study it. See, out of the 1,600 farm villages, majority of the farmers do not do farming. The farming is being done by the contract people only. They give a fixed amount of rent to the landlord. Every year they pay it. They get the land. They do it. So the real farmers does not know what is being produced, how it is produced, and what price it is produced. These are all done by the commission agents or the middlemen who is doing the farming business in Punjab. So when Theka is there, why should we go against the Contract Farming Act? Okay, the clauses of the Contract Farming Act can be questioned. That is something different. Why per se we go against the contract farming? It is not good. See, now I am just coming to a comparison, or what is the plight of the farmer. That I am basing it on a study I conducted in Kerala between 1918 and 2020. See, we found that between 1980 and 2020, 30-year period, the prices of the agricultural commodities, including rubber, went up by 10 times only. But the average annual income or salary of the organized sector went up by 70 times. So when the price of the crops in Kerala increased by 10 times only in 30 years, the wages or the salaries of the remaining people, other than the farmers, increased by 70%, 70 times. You see the difference. You see the disparity of income. You see the gap between the rich and the poor. The gap between the farmer and the non-farmer has gone up very, very widely. How the farmers compensated it? The latest survey says that the average debt of an Indian farmer is only 40,000 rupees, whereas the average debt bank loan of a Kerala farmer is 3 lakhs. So how it is being done? The very active cooperative banking sector in Kerala, when the farmer did not add on the interest portion to the principal and give another 10,000 rupees, they should have taken 1 lakh rupees. They will add 1 lakh plus the interest 12,000 plus another another bonanza for the farmer, 20,000 rupees extra. So the loan amount has gone to 1,40,000. Next it will go to 1,80,000. Likewise, it has gone on increasing. The debt has not been repaid. The interest has not been serviced. So the Kerala farmers are the biggest debtors in the agriculture sector in India. So when it comes to this issue, if you see the price rise and the inflation and the price of the agricultural producers in Kerala, you feel that the price of the agricultural producers has not gone up in consonance with the inflation or in consonance with the income increase of the other sectors of the economy. There only we have to see it. See, when the prices of the onion goes up, the government immediately interferes and it imports onion. When the price of potato goes up, they interferes and imports. To whose sake? See, naturally, the economics says that there's a demand and supply. When the demand goes up, the supply should be there or the price will go up. So when the real farmers wants to get an increase in the income by sale of their produce or by the better prices, the government interferes and sees that the price is reduced. So if you see that way also, at that point also, or in that area also, the farmers are being looted by the government for the benefit of the general public, maybe the policy makers or the opinion makers in the urban centers. I am not fighting against urban people, but this is what the reality. See, if you see the plight of the farmers across the nation, the total output by the farming community or agriculture in 1960 was 44%. So if 100 rupees is produced in India, 44 rupees was contributed by the farmers in 1960-61. In 2016-17, latest data available, it has come down to 11% only. That means the proportion of the farming activity, agriculture in the total national economy has come down by less than 1/5. So naturally, senior citizens or senior politicians or senior statesmen who has a duty to feed the people of India, they may feel that if this goes on, after some point of time, people will stop farming. If people stop farming, from where the agricultural produce will come, who can feed them? You have to import them or you have to get it. So it is the duty of the government at any level, whether the central government or state government, to see that the farming activity goes on and the agricultural produce are produced. For that, if you see, there are so many agricultural commissions which just come right from 1926, the Royal Commission for Agriculture to the National Commission for Farmers in 2004. And the latest one is the doubling of farmers' income. Doubling of farmers' income committee constituted by the Narendra Modi government in February 2016. The saddest episode or the biggest case of this issue is that none of the leaders of the farmers or politicians, they never went through the voluminous doubling of farmers' income report, which runs into 2,438 pages. 2,438 pages, 14 volumes. See, now the government has started implementing only up to volume number 5, sustainability concerns in agriculture, then a post-production interaction, agri-logistics. So when the fifth series of that report is getting implemented, people get agitated, politicians get agitated. Before getting agitated, they should very seriously read why this doubling of farmers' income report has come. What are the critical areas where the government wants to increase the income of the farmers, at least by double? Now everybody is questioning them. But the real fact is that they started implementing it. That is why the 2,000 rupees per 3 months pension to the farmers came. It is the 6,000 rupees per year. More than 28 lakh farmers in Kerala got that pension scheme. So it is getting implemented. And another factor is that India is not, many of the people does not know it. India is the 8th biggest exporter of agricultural producers. And the biggest is the European Union, then Brazil, Canada, Thailand, US, China, Indonesia. And India had exported 39 billion worth of agricultural exports last year. So India is not a food deficit state. And if you see in global rankings, like what Advocate Joni told, we are the last in so many global rankings. In per capita, it is 145th, happiness index is 100th. But in the farmers front, we are the one of the top 10 farming or the farming produce exports index. So it is not an easy thing that they are not doing it. The real issue of the farmer distress lies in 3 major issues. One is the overstaffing of the laborers in the agricultural market or agricultural activity. Second is the private money lenders to the farmers by mandi middlemen. And third is the low productivity of the crops which we are rearing in India. And if we see it, agriculture is the biggest licensed or regulated market, regulated sector in India. So naturally, all these areas needs to be changed. Again, coming to the core issue, the biggest slogan now raised is that Adanis and Ambanis will take over the food distribution system of India. And recently we have heard that 2 state governments are going to file cases before Supreme Court of India to repeal these 3 acts. Unfortunately, one state is Kerala. But the funny portion of it is that none of the 3 acts are implementable in Kerala. See, we don't have a minimum support price. We do not have the APMC. There are no regulated markets in Kerala for the last 50 years. When there are no regulated markets in Kerala for the last 50 years, and when so many lakhs of farmers are doing multiple farmings, right from rice to tapioca to rubber to anything, even tea, spices, everything, what is the logic of our government going and fighting against this? This is a tragedy. See, actually what we should think is that Kerala, to take the example of Kerala, the real issue is that the farmers, producers are not getting marketed properly, whereby farmers get better prices for their farm produce. The farm produce in the consumers market, and the price the farmer gets is only 1/3. If you get a produce in the market at 60 rupees, the farmer gets the price only 20. So 20 rupees farmer gets, 40 rupees middleman gets. So naturally, that is where all these issues has to be taken up. These three acts are a stepping stone to create a network or create an act or trading concerns to see that the produce of the farmers reach the consumer with the minimum, profiteering. So if you take the example of Kerala, I tell you, because the Kerala had a very good cooperative banking sector. If you see it, Kerala has the biggest and the most versatile cooperative banking sector in India. Kerala has nearly 1,600 cooperative banks, and its total business is more than 1.7 lakh crores. I think 1,70,000 crores. And literally, these name of the cooperative banks were called PSCS. It is primarily agricultural credit societies. So actually, they are supposed to help the farmers. They are supposed to help the agricultural activities of the farmers. But what is the tragedy of it? Now, out of the total 1.68 lakh crores, 1,68,632 crores of business during 2019, fertilizer sale was just 675 crores. Produce purchase, the agricultural produce purchase was just 186 crores, totaling to 861 crores, which is only just 0.5% of the total business. So naturally, the issue is that systems are there, but there is no inclination from the bureaucracy or from the politicians or from the people's representatives to see that this system is utilized to help the farmers to procure their produce and sell the produce. So when a system is there, when a Pakka infrastructure is there in Kerala, we are not bothered about it. We just go for politicking. We just go for litigations. Thereby, the real issue of the farmer is still unmet by the government or for the bureaucracy. So what is the solution? There are solutions. You see the development of the Amul Federations of Gujarat. It is an 80-member union, 36 lakh farmers, 18,700 villages, and more than 40,000 crores of turnover. So we have our own examples. If you see now I have seen somebody telling that the global food conglomerates or the global food, Adanis will take over the food production in India. And they named two institutions. One is Dairy Gold and one is Fantara. If you see Dairy Gold and if you see Fantara, both of these are two dairy farmers cooperatives in US and Australia and New Zealand. So people spread the messages which are not in tune with the actual real facts. So naturally, what is required is that there should be a change for the living style and living structure of the farmers. The farmers' income has not to be doubled. Farmers' income has to be at par with the income of the other sectors of the economy. And whatever backdrop the farmers face, you see now in reservation quotas, what the government do? Wherever there's a reservation quota shortfall, they used to fill it up as a class program. Likewise, for the last 40 to 30 years, farmers lost their income. As I told you earlier, when the farmers' income increased by 10 times, the other sectors' income increased by 70 times. So there is a very, very backlog in the farmers' income front. So when Narendra Modi tells it is doubling of farmers' income, we have to fight for not doubling of farmers' income at par with the income of other group. So we should take up these issues and discuss these issues and study these issues. In the background of these topics or these discussion, issues which I raised before you. Why I raise this issue is that some of the participants or some of the people who hear this talk, they may be the real supporters of the farmers. What they should do is that whatever inputs I have given, you go through it and you create your own researches. You start studying a particular area. maybe the Punjab farmers, or maybe the Kerala farmers, or maybe the plight of the farmers of rice and wheat in other states other than Haryana and Punjab, and understand what is it. See, now the last issue is that why this Punjab and Haryana is agitating is that there is a revenue loss of 6,000 crores per year to the Haryana government, because this Mandi Commission and the GST and tax on the rice and wheat, they are losing. So naturally, there will be a fight from the government. They will do whatever they like. So the income loss or tax loss of 6,000 goes to Haryana government. The Mandi-based private money lenders business issues, the commission which the Mandi managers get from the Mandi business, all these has come into an economic cartel, which might have formed together, and they might be fighting it. One thing is there, I am not telling that the entire three legislations are best golden handshakes. No. See, whatever to conclude, again, the 5 major points which needs to be raised is that the minimum support price should be given for all agricultural producers. The minimum support price should be fixed in such a manner that they consider all the economic aspects, including the cost of production, including the cost of the land on which the produce is produced. Plus, they won't tell that the existing mandis will continue, the MSP will continue, and anything doing or purchasing any produce less than the MSP is a criminal offense. And there should be a dispute resolution through a court model and not through a revenue or a recovery model. So these are the basic issues which I see, because I worked as a member of the State Level Bankers Committee for Kerala, Tamil Nadu and Pondicherry for 9 years, up to 2 years back. So I have seen the plight of these farmers in the State Level Bankers Committees, because there we take it as a bankers issue, but the real issues comes from there. Because the farmers are not paying the debts back. So many issues coming up. Farmer does not have the money to again go for harvesting or go for planting. So these issues and also the issues or the topics which I read through a cross section of readings. And one thing is very clear: in 2008, the World Development Bank's annual report was Agriculture for Development 2008. In 2008, the World Development Bank recommended that instead of the mandis, instead of the MSPs, there should be farmers producer companies where the farmers only become members, and that farmer producer companies are supported by highly professionalized management and business experts, for which the government should pay. Let the farmers do their farming activity, let them produce the maximum produce, and let that produce be sold, marketed, procured, and processed by the professionals under their control, with independence, and let them get the money. 13 years last and we never studied anything. So if you see all these things, I for 5 amendments or changes which these 3 acts should be there in India, and that will act as the 1991 liberalization platform. And likewise, if you go back, if Farhan go back to the 1981 newspaper reports and TV channel, you can see that the same level of agitations were happening in different parts of India against the liberalization, brought out by Narasimha Rao and our former Prime Minister, Manmohan Singh. So now if you see it 30 years afterwards, you see how it has developed real India. Likewise, I may be optimistic. I'm not a pessimist. Optimistically, I feel that these laws will make the farmers prosperous, rich. May not be like the Australian or American farmers, at least at par with the Punjab farmers in across the state. So let me conclude by these arguments, because I am putting some thinkings for the participants to act on it. And I am sending this the entire set of notes I have prepared. I am sending it to Father Anthony, who in turn can send it to the participants for their reading and for the updation. And anything which you require, you are free to call me at my both numbers and my mail ID, which will be there in that note. Because this is an ongoing process. Whether the agitation ends or the issues goes up, it is immaterial. This has to continue. This learning process and discussion has to continue. And I thank Adi and Father Anthony and Father Arthail for giving me this opportunity. And I personally feel that the participants who are in this meeting should be again interacted, should be put to a WhatsApp platform or some platform, so that we will discuss interactively. I am having my farmers first is a WhatsApp platform. From there only we develop so many issues. I am having so many bureaucrats, senior IAS people, senior corporates, CMDs, who just see the WhatsApp group, they never respond. But they interact personally to me. They send me personal posts. They send me personal reports. Many of the findings or many of the inputs here are such inputs given by senior executives or senior bureaucrats in state and central. That is the way we should interact. So I personally request Father Anthony to continue this interaction, because ADI is a farmer-based or a rural area-based organization, and the Jesuits are known for their pro-farmer, pro-poor development activities. So I pray and wish that these institutions, the institutions, that is ADA, what is it, ADA plus Logmans and JESA, interact and take up this issue further. Thank you, Father.
Thank you very much, sir. Ashwini.
Thank you, sir. Now it's time to interact with our discussion, and you can ask your questions and share your thoughts with the
Ashwini, your voice is breaking. Friends, you can ask our Mr. Alex is there, Advocate is here, Johnny, and Mr. James Vadakan is there. I'm sure Mr. Vadakan sir has given different outlook, and you will have difference of opinion, as well as you can ask question and clarify. Feel free. I think variety of people are here, many scholars, students, and variety of even activists and so on. Feel free to ask questions to either to Vadakan or to the Advocate Johnny. We will have just for 10 minutes. We'll have discussion. Then we have to wind up, because we have told you that we'll finish by 5. It may go up to 5:05 or 5:10. Kindly feel free, if you have any question, ask. Thank you.
I think nobody is asking questions, so I have some questions to Mr. James Vadakan. So I think based on what you have said so far, I think you support these bills, okay? And the overall objective is that the farmer income should be doubled. Do you seriously believe that if these laws are enacted and implemented as it is, even with the changes that you proposed, the farmer's income will double?
It has to double. You see, just to see the Alex, if you see the prices in the market and the prices received by the farmers, I'm not going into the macro, very big national level issues, just to go to a small issue. See, when I sell the plant at 20 rupees, I purchase it at 45 rupees from the same platform the next day. This is just an economics I'm telling you. Maybe the implementable portion of it, it may be gigantic. That is why I told about Gujarat Milk Marketing Federation and Amul. See, when 37 lakh farmers can be grouped and a perishable product like milk can be distributed across the nation or not across the globe, it is possible. Nothing is impossible. So my point is that, I'm not against agitations. Agitations are good. It's very well. Let them do it. But at the same time, we should take the positive aspects of it and ensure that the income of the farmer. You see, the question is not doubling a farmer's income. If I or Alex, I can tell you, I have studied my own salary. It has gone by 40 times, whereas the price of the tapioca remains even less than 12 times. So when I consume something, I don't pay a remunerative price for my farmer. And by passage of time, he will stop farming. So at the cost of retaining my supporter, there should be given a remunerative income. It is not a livelihood for the people. They do auto rickshaw driving. They do some kind of other activities. They bring a daily income to their house, and along with that, they do the farming. So the business or the income from the farming is not cannot support a family. So naturally, what will happen? People will start stopping farming. So naturally, what will happen? The food production itself will stop. It is a hypothetical issue, but at a point of time, it has to stop.
Okay.
So I feel that it is not a question of doubling of the farmer's income. It is a question of multiplying the farmer's income.
Okay. Fine, I take your argument. See, now there are certain other numbers we need to keep in mind. Okay. See, as you know, the MSP for rice in this year is 1,880 rupees per quintal. Okay. That is ensured through mandis. Now, the market price for rice in all major rice producing states in India varies from 800 to 1,200 rupees. At the upper end, it is less than 600 rupees. And on the lower end, it's less than 50%. Okay, now even with mandi system existing, on the market price, farmers are getting is much lower. So now the biggest concern that farmers are raising is that with government not assuring the mandi system will continue, though it is allowed to continue, if the inflow of goods is much lower, then it will eventually phase out. So without mandi system, if you're going by the market price, then the maximum they will get is 1,200 even at the current prices. So how will it benefit farmers? That is one question. Now the second question, the second point you raised is regarding the commission. You said it's a cartel of commission agents and government. See, the commission is 2.5% of 1,818 rupees, which works out to be around 40 rupees. See, mandi system is a system in which millions of square feet of developed land is used. 100,000 people are working in it. So this 2.5% is not a big deal. It's about 40 rupees that too paid by the government. The farmer doesn't pay it. In Punjab is 2.5% for the commission agent and 5.5% for the government. Total is 8%. Punjab government gets around 5,000 crore as commission. That is correct. But that money is being pumped back into the economy to create more mandis, to create infrastructure, to give roads, etc. So that way you can't say that it is exploitation. It's actually used for farmers' own benefit. So those are the 2 points I had to kind of differ with you. The market prices will never be favorable to farmers. That is the experience right from beginning. Right from 1947, we are fighting the same battle. If we go back and put everything in corporate hand, how will we ensure this kind of a reasonable price? The Gujarat experience is a completely different one. Amul cannot be compared here. That's a cooperative movement. You can't expect that kind of social commitment from a corporate, whoever it is. Businessmen's primary motive is to make profit, not social commitment. Amul started with a different set of motto altogether. So I don't think you can compare that. So that's all I have to say.
See, the first issue is, Alex, if you take the total procurement, see, only 13.5% of the entire production of paddy in India is procured through the mandis and the MSP.
Absolutely.
If you take the rice, if you take the wheat, it is only 16%. So when 87 and 84% of the farmers does not use mandi. See, we cannot tell that. See, I'm not against mandi. Let mandi be there. See, mandi is a system managed by the state government.
Yes,
so Punjab
absolutely.
government or Kerala government or Tamil Nadu government can continue with the mandi. What is wrong in it? Let them continue it. But what is wrong in somebody else? Kerala State Food Supplies Corporation going and opening a shop near a mandi in Ludhiana and procuring the rice for Kerala.
At what price? At what price will they buy? That is the question.
See, a price which is less than the mandi price, nobody will give to you. When I offer,
wrong. No, that is not right.
See, when the procurement price is 18 rupees per kg of rice, Kerala government pays 27.3 rupees for 1 kg of paddy.
Yeah, that's only in Kerala.
The government of Kerala, they have procured 4 lakh tons of paddy in Kerala. From Kerala.
Yes. Yeah, that's only in Kerala.
So when
it's
Kerala government procures, the same government procures paddy at 20 rupees in Ludhiana.
Yeah, absolutely. No, see, there is nothing.
See, it's a question of, it is a survey of the fittest. See, you cannot block a Kerala government or XYZ going to Ludhiana and procuring at the 2 rupees plus the mandi rate. That is why I'm telling the mandi has to continue. Let the mandi continue. Let the MSP remain there. Anybody can purchase above the mandi and above the MSP. What is wrong?
No, but nobody, even with mandis, the prices is 600 rupees less than the mandi price. So you are saying that if mandi goes, you think somebody will pay much higher price?
No, I am not telling that mandi should go. I told you in the first point, mandi has to continue. The MSP has to continue. See, I am not totally pro for the bill. You remember me, I told 5 issues in the first stage. It is the MSP has to continue. MSP has to be there for all the food producers, all the agricultural producers, plus the mandi has to continue. Along with the mandi, what is wrong in others going and opening their shops?
See,
which is
okay, I get you. Yeah, see, I get your point. See, the problem in India is that there are total of only 6,700 mandis in India, while the central government recommendation is to have 41,000 mandis. To ensure that people have at least in an 80-kilometer radius, there should be one mandi. That is the recommendation by Agricultural Ministry. What we have is less than 10% of what it should be. Now we are doing away with whatever is available right now. And there's one more point. You see, in states like Bihar and Uttar Pradesh, even now, today, yesterday, if you look at the national highways leading to Punjab and Haryana, there are truckloads of rice and wheat going from Uttar Pradesh and Bihar to Punjab. Because these states do not have mandi system and they are not getting sufficient price. So UP in Punjab and Haryana, they have a very efficient mandi system for whatever reasons. Okay, that's why they are agitating, because they are getting a reasonable price only because their state governments ensure proper functioning of the mandi. Okay, now we cannot, no, it's my view, we cannot blame that it's a cartel. It's a properly working system. Any state government can do it. Bihar repealed the APMC Act in 2003. Maharashtra also diluted it in 2012. In none of those states, people are getting MSP. That's why the problem. See, for mandis to operate, there has to be a certain scale. You know the economies of scale, right?
Yeah.
So if people are allowed to, let's say, if 50% of the volume is reduced in mandi, then the mandi system will go. Absolutely, it will go because people cannot sustain it. That is our problem. My problem is simple. See, my problem is simple. If you leave everything into market forces, then the price will crash. Simply, price will crash. So what is the mechanism to ensure that people get MSP? Can it be made a legal right? If MSP can be made a legal right, then I'm completely for it. Otherwise, I think the price will crash.
Yeah, Chair. That is why there are for every issue there's a case model.
Advocate Johnny, sir, you want to say something? Let us listen to Advocate Johnny, please.
I may ask you one question. Always we are discussing. I have mostly observed the arguments submitted by you, and I'm so happy to hear that I have already expected some conflicting views from your side. That I have already stated. But I may ask you something. Most of the major
not clear. Many are speaking.
Johnny, Advocate Vakil, just you are using both the devices. Just
yeah.
That's a problem.
Yeah, Johnny sir, carry on. Now okay.
Yes, okay. James, the most of the time you discussed about the trade issues only. But what about the farming issues? Whether the sponsors are duty bound to cultivate the need of the country? Is it whether the sponsors are or the corporates or whoever it may be? All the issues that will be relating to the farming agreement. Actually, what are the matters going to be envisaged in the farming agreement that will work out? So is it mandated that there is some provisions that the crops or the food crops must be cultivated in any of the land? Absolutely nothing. So after executing the farming agreement, the sponsor will override the entire rights of the farmer. And actually, who is going to farm? As you said, the income of the farmers will be doubled if all these enactments will come in force. That may double the income of the farmers. I may ask you something. Who will cultivate? Whether the actual downtrodden, marginalized farmers will cultivate in future, or the corporates, or the people pumping the money to that farming lands, whether they are going to procure the huge amounts from this trading, not the farmers. Only the illegal gratification or the enrichment will be only to the people who are pumping the money to that fields. It shall begin from the fields. That agreement has to be needs to be considered first. That is the agreement to be looked into. Here, not only the issue of trading, but the major issue is about the cultivating that agreement, farming agreement. That is cutting the very root of the intention. where the peasants will not get any opportunity for bargaining or even cultivating on his own lands, That's the position. So without understanding that very, very important point, we are discussing about the farmers issue, okay? How the farmers will be enriched if they are not doing the farming, if they are not getting opportunity to do the farming. So here, they are not getting assistance. Actually, their lands are taken away through some agreement. They are not getting the liberty to cultivate according to their interest. They are not getting opportunity. So then, if the corporates are pumping money or whoever the sponsors are pumping money to the agricultural fields, whether they are going to sell their crops in the public sector or in the public distribution system, they won't sell that. They will definitely aim on the exporting business. They have in major corporates having business they're abroad. They are doing their business. If they are giving, if through the exporting business, if they are able to get more money, definitely they will concentrate in that. As Mr. Alex said, they are concentrating in the profits only. They are not duty bound to give the crops to the public sector or the public distribution system. So the scarcity will be faced. Even we may face the starvation, no doubt at all. Thank you, sir.
I agree, Advocate. The issue is that, see, who is the custodian and who has to give the, who has to maintain the public distribution system. There is an agency, there is a government, there is a state government or central government. Why can't they interfere? See, if I want to get 1 lakh tons of wheat and rice to be procured, produced, supplied through the 14,000 PDSs in Kerala, the government has a right to procure it. How the civil supplies corporation is doing the business there in Kerala? They are doing 2,000 crores of business. From there, where they procure it? They procure it from
that is burden the citizen only. That burden the citizen only. See, I will give you an example about the fuel price, the hike of the fuel price. Whether that is burdening the citizen or burdening the government. That is not burdening the machinery. That is burdening the citizen only. So the government is not duty bound. Not that time. If the government is unable to meet the necessities, the government will be helpless. The countries where the starvation facing, there are also some government existing, but they can't do anything because they are not getting the crops. Without getting the agriculture, the food crops, how the government can help the citizen? How the government can meet the necessities? Because the government say, see, Food Corporation of India, that is already distracted. There is no crops coming to the mandis. The mandis will link. What I'm understanding, that will be left as the remnants. Now public distribution system will go. 100% sure. That is my view. Anyway, some of the, as you said, I am also optimistic. Okay, I am also interested, very much interested for the upliftment of the farmers.
When Punjab is doing 80% of its cultivation through a contract farming system for last so many years. See, a fresh coming issue, we can raise so many litigation issues. No, what I'm telling is that, see, you see the pineapple plantations in Kerala, is the contract farming?
May I continue, sir? Listening.
The pineapple, see, when 3.4 lakh hectares of rubber plantation is there in Kerala, during replantation, the pineapple plantation industry comes and do the pineapple planting for 3 years. The entire pineapple plantation in Kerala is contract farming only.
Seventh schedule. This is the reason. This is the main reason for putting this subject in the 7th schedule state list. Because the cultivation.
Muted.
In Haryana and Punjab, that is not applicable. That method is not applicable in Kerala. That is the main reason for putting this particular subject in the state list. So all the state enactments will be rolled out through the non-obstante clause. Why there is non-obstante clause? Then how the union got the power to intrude in the right of the state for the enactment, so for levying the reasonable taxes, how they can intrude in that, curtailing the right of the states. Then what's the purpose of the 7th schedule? Whether they are going for the constitutional amendments for the enactments of these 3 acts, I don't think so. Whether a constitutional amendment
Anthony, since it is time is going to be over, I would just add one point.
Dr. Matthew Arthil, I will add and will go for order. Thanks since time is over. It's a good
Yeah, that's true. Anyhow, it was good that all the three of you presented well, especially with the divergent view. Divergence, it was good that it came, I thought. In the beginning, I thought I was a little restless, but later I thought since the others complimented, it was good so that those who are listening to get both views, they are able to discuss. Just now the news is that the talk with the government failed, and the farmers are continuing the agitation. Some of the points I said, especially the first one, Alex, namely that the agitation is only by farmers of 2 states. I am not quite sure. These are to be ascertained. There was a response from other states also, many other states. Then 2 of you, Johnny and Son, said it is a state subject. Why is that the central government overruling the states and federalism? And thirdly, why, if it is good that the central government did not convince as much as possible the farmers that it is useful, so that they are able to take at least the good ones. So this autocratic way of passing the legislation, in the parliament there was no time to discuss, and outside also there was no sufficient opportunity for people to discuss and understand the legislation. These are the questions which make us uncomfortable, and therefore the farmers are also confused, and then they are opposing also, maybe sometimes blindly, otherwise without understanding properly. Okay, that's all.
Thank you, Dr. Matthew Arthil. I think all three really, we feel very happy. As Mr. James Vadakansa said, we need to study in a particular area. We should explore. Even especially in this area, it is a very vast area. We should properly understand, and some light we have got it. I think all the participants are happy. I think since time is, I'll request Ms. Ashwati, you. She's also from Pathanamthitta. She'll be delivering the vote of thanks. Or she's a staff counselor, student counselor. She'll be giving the vote of thanks. Yes, Ashwati.
Okay, Father. And good evening, everyone. And I am Ashwati. And today's topic, our webinar was farmers, the new farmers' laws and farmers' rights and farmers' protest. And our resource persons gave us a deep understanding on this current issue of farmers, and we are all happy to hear about these current issues. And I would like to thank each one of you for participating in this webinar till the end. And first of all, I would like to express my gratitude towards Mr. Alex Orugail, who was inaugurated. And now it's time to thank our persons and Advocate Johnny K. George, the legal director of KIFA, and Mr. James Vadakan, and the founder of Farmers First. And thank you so much for enlightening us about this current issue of farmers. Thank you, both of you. I would like to thank Father Lenin Anthony, the director of ADI, and Dr. Matthew Arthil, the associate director of ADI, and also Mr. Vipin Lal, the coordinator of ADI, and other staff of ADI and Lockmanch, and who organized this webinar efficiently. And now I thank all the participants, such as students, faculties, social workers, activists, farmers, research scholars, and other professionals from various fields in this webinar, from India and abroad, and many other parts of the country, and through the Zoom app and our YouTube channel Adi Srishti. I thank you all, and I thank each one of you for being a part of this webinar. Thank you so much.
I think we will meet again, sir. I will keep in touch with you, Mr. James sir, Alex sir, and Advocate Johnny. Kindly send me. I will contact you, Mr. James sir, and I will get the material. Those who want, I will send through email or WhatsApp.
I'm just sending it. Once it's all, I'm sending it to you.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir. So people will understand different way of understand this farmers' rights and so on. And all the friends, many are attended from different parts of the country. Thank you from Bihar, Delhi. We see people from even Betia, Bihar, and from Uttarakhand, Uttar Pradesh, Gujarat, and one doctor from Pune, Bhaskar Igwe, and many our friends. Thank you for everyone for attending this. Thank you. Vipin, you can stop YouTube. 5 to 7 minutes it will be there. Those who want to ask questions, because the feedback form is there, you can fill that and get the e-certificate. Advocate Johnny sir, ippam Pathanamthitta thanne undale. Appam Attappadiyilekku swagatham. You are most welcome to Adi Attappadi. It's a tribal NGO, registered NGO.
ഇതിലെ പല കാര്യങ്ങളും ജെയിംസ് സാറ് പറഞ്ഞിട്ടുള്ള പല കാര്യങ്ങളും വളരെ ഡിസ്കസ് ചെയ്യപ്പെടേണ്ട മാത്രമാണ്. പക്ഷേ അതൊന്നും ആരും അഡ്രസ് ചെയ്യുകയോ അതൊന്നും ഡിസ്കസ് ചെയ്യുകയോ ചെയ്യുന്നില്ല. ഞാൻ പിന്നെ ഒരു പബ്ലിക് പ്ലാറ്റ്ഫോമിൽ അതിനെ സംബന്ധിച്ച് ഡിസ്കസ് ചെയ്യുമ്പോഴാണ് നമ്മുടെ ആ ഒരു വ്യൂ പോയിന്റിലേക്ക് അത് കൺവിൻസ് ചെയ്യാനുള്ള ഒരു ബാധ്യതയുണ്ട്. അതുകൊണ്ടാണ്. പക്ഷെ ജെയിംസ് സാർ ആ ഡെപ്തിലേക്ക് പോയി പറഞ്ഞ കാര്യങ്ങളെല്ലാം ഫോർ ദ ബെറ്റർമെന്റ് ഓഫ് ദ ഫാമേഴ്സ് ആണ്. പക്ഷെ ഇതൊന്നും അഡ്രസ് ചെയ്യാനോ കോമൺ പബ്ലിക്കിനെ കൺവിൻസ് ചെയ്യാനോ തയ്യാറാകുന്നില്ല. ഓക്കെ, ഇതിൽ ചില മാറ്റങ്ങളൊക്കെ വരുത്തിക്കൊണ്ട് ഫാമേഴ്സിന്റെ വെൽബീയിങ്ങിന് വേണ്ടിയിട്ട് നിൽക്കാൻ ബാധ്യസ്ഥരാണ്. പക്ഷെ എന്തുകൊണ്ടോ ഈ എനാക്ട്മെന്റ് ഒക്കെ വരുന്നതിന് മുമ്പായിട്ട് അതിനെ ഒരു എന്താ പറയുന്നത് ഒരു ഭരണാധികാരി ഇംപ്ലിമെന്റ് ചെയ്യുന്ന ശൈലിയിലാണ് കൊണ്ടുവരുന്നത്. ആക്ച്വലി നമുക്ക് ഭരണാധികാരികൾ എന്ന് പറയാനേ പാടില്ല. റെപ്രസെന്റേഷൻ ഓഫ് പീപ്പിൾ ആക്ട് എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ ഭരണാധികാരികളെ തെരഞ്ഞെടുക്കുന്നതല്ല. അപ്പൊ കോമൺ പബ്ലിക്കിനെ കൺവിൻസ് ചെയ്യണം.